So we're going to check out this video. Marc Lamont looks like he's going to be interviewing Amanda Seales. All right, these are two. I'm going to sit through as much of this as I can. Let's check it out.
Is a comedian, an actress, a writer, and a producer. But Amanda Seales isn't satisfied with just making people laugh. She also wants to make a change. Tonight, we're going to spend the hour with a woman who does everything: intellectual, artistic, and creative and political. She is the brilliant, wonderful Amanda Seales. Amanda, welcome to the Griot.
Hello. Speaking of change, as I'm sitting here looking at myself, I realize I want to change my earrings. So we can continue the interview, but I'm going to change the earrings.
You can just keep on rolling. It's good. It's okay. Keep rolling. Change the earring. Talk to me about, first of all, what are you up to right now? I turned on the radio and heard your voice.
I know. You know, what I'm up to is my syndicated radio show, The Amanda Seales Show. And it's like very exciting because it's the first time that I've had something that was completely of my...
We got the book. Nicely placed. What is this? Small doses? Yeah, because she can't be only handled in small doses. I'm talking about one interaction a week. Small doses.
Vision, but that was backed by a bigger company, right? So Radio One, Reach Media, Urban One, they are the folks that I've partnered with to make this syndicated show happen. And it's really just been a great experience working with them because they treat you like they treat you as a partner. You know, they respect my mind, they respect what I bring to the table. And since we've started, it's a new venture for me.
I do have to, this chair right here. Ooh. This chair looks comfortable as heck. And I do respect it. Look like Amanda's is going natural. So you have to get kudos for that because so many women out here today are not natural. So come on, Amanda, you get some cool points.
Because I've never done syndicated radio, so it definitely is like a learning curve in that regard, but we're already in 7 cities. We started in Philly in November, and we've expanded to Houston, Charlotte, Muscle Shoals, Alabama, Toledo, Richmond, Columbus, Ohio, and we, look forward to expanding to more cities. So it's really been a great time so far. And it's a show where I get to give people laughs and facts in the same space, which I feel like is not as common as we would like it to be in the media space.
I was going to say, I mean, that's the great thing about you in general, but especially on this show is you get to do all the things. Is it a different preparation for you now that every single day you get up to talk about current events, you got to talk about politics, and you are talking about pop culture stuff? I mean, is that a different preparation for you?
You know, I thought it was going to be. Like, I really was like, this is going to be very strenuous and you need to like start working out your brain. And I even started doing like a thing on my Instagram where I would do like Amanda in the headlines ahead of time because I was trying to train myself to be able to like, every day be up for it. But honestly, it's really been very natural because I think ultimately I'm always looking at this type of stuff anyway. Like I'm a kind of in the know person, and my Smart, Funny, and Black Productions, like our group chat is oftentimes just like stories about things that are going on in the zeitgeist, things that are going on in the news, politically, socially, what random dude with a podcast is saying some hot take that we all gonna be upset about this week. It's like these things are kind of always already in my orbit. So it really just allows me to, on my show, be able to take the things that I would normally be talking about insularly or, the one topic I may talk about on my podcast or on my Instagram, now I can talk about an array of things in this one area. And for folks who aren't in any of those cities that I named, they can listen to the Amanda Seales Show every day on podcast. So wherever you get your podcast, you just type in the Amanda Seales Show and you'll get that day's show.
That's dope. Speaking of random people with podcasts, there's a whole world out there of people who say the wildest stuff, the most misogynistic stuff, the most racist stuff, the most unfactual stuff around vaccines, around reproduction, around all that stuff. Do you feel a responsibility when you do your show to kind of respond to them or kind of push back against them, or is the best thing to do to kind of ignore them and pretend they don't exist?
It depends on the person. You know, I think there's definitely a certain level of you can't be too silent or else you're complicit, you know, and you're enabling. So I do think there's a certain level of that. But I think in general, I try to address things from an information base that counters whatever those individuals are saying. So even though there may be an individual saying something, a lot of times it's not even necessary to address that individual as much as it is to address the larger point that they were trying to make or that they were failing to make, right? Now, at a certain point, it's like, how many times can we respond to the single-digit IQ fodder that Marjorie Taylor Greene gives us every day? You know, like I don't have enough time in my show to keep dedicating time to this fool. Same with, you know, 45. Like I don't want to hear his voice. Like I don't want to keep giving him airtime. So you have to be choosy about what you're going to acknowledge and what you're going to just let go, because these are people that make a business out of this. They're grifters, right? So at a certain point, if you keep acknowledging the...
She's totally wrong. These two people that she talked about was Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, this is what liberals and Democrats do. They're not willing to have the discussion about something. If you don't agree with them, they're just gonna cut you off, which for the life of me, I don't understand why they would do that. I think it's better to have a good faith conversation. I'm gonna listen to you. Hopefully you're gonna listen to me. Listen to understand, not listen to respond. And in the end, we may not agree, but here's how I think. I'm open to my mind being changed. These liberals and these Democrats, no, they're not open to any of that. Their thinking is you're going to believe what I believe, or you're racist, homophobic, xenophobic, and whatever other ism and phobia that you want to put on it. That's why they're unreasonable. Can we be reasonable? I'm totally willing to be reasonable.
The grifter, you are actually feeding the grift.
I can see that. What's been the toughest thing that you've had to... You talked about the learning curve. What's been the toughest thing you've had to learn about hosting a daily show?
I mean, I think just the format of radio, right? Like I do a podcast, Small Doses, and we've been doing Small Doses podcast for 5 years. And, you know, on the podcast, you're just talking. You on the mic, you talking. And I have, my podcast is like in my blood at this point since we've been doing it so long. I mean, I turned it into a book, and it's really more about like self-help, and we have interviews. Whereas radio has a specific format. You know, you're going to do a specific number of breaks. They need to be a specific a time. You have to think about it in a holistic way, differently than you would think about a podcast, because with a podcast, you're thinking about it just episodically, whereas with a radio show, you're thinking about it over the course of 4 hours as well as over the course of 5 days. And so format-wise, that's been the change for me. But like I'm a creative, so like I feel like it's been a cool, like even though it's a learning curve, it's just been cool to like teach this old dog new tricks.
You say that you're creative, and I always tell everybody, I say Amanda is like the most talented person that I know. You know, it's actually kind of, I'm serious, you know, it's actually kind of weird because you just know how to do everything. And if you don't know how to do everything, you just like learn how to do it. Like I remember when you were about to start doing comedy, you're like, I'm gonna do the stand-up thing. And then next thing I know, like you're on HBO. Like, what was that journey like in particular? Like, talk to me about the comedy part of it first.
I know he invited her on as a guest, but bruh. Why are you kowtowing and simping to this lady? I'm done.